Hey Joseph, tell us the best shares to buy this 2025 with as little as 10,000. Guess what? Your wish is my command. Here I am. I got my pen, I got my head, and got my board and this camera, sharing this information with you. What are the best shares or stocks to buy this year 2025? Let's say you've been watching my videos and you followed what I said and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy stocks and I'm gonna go ahead and buy shares. I wanna get started on this game of investing. But hey, Joseph, if you don't mind, how about you share with us some of the stocks that you can buy along? Let's go into the business. Hey, remember, I am not a stockbroker. Well, by law, I'm not supposed to tell you buy this, buy the other, buy the other. One thing that you're supposed to do at all the time, make sure that you do your own research whenever you are investing your money. If it is possible, if you ask me, I would highly 100% support that you go contact or consult your financial advisor or contact your stockbroker. By law, they're the one who should tell you what you should buy. This is my own personal research and I'm not paid by any company that I'm gonna mention on this particular board. I'm doing it for free for you to pick it or leave it. Don't forget to leave that like button. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you'll be notified. By the way, don't ignore what I always tell you. If you've never subscribed to my YouTube channel, you're watching me for the first time, subscribe. Why? Because I upload this kind of juice each and every day. You'll never miss any. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your eyeballs. Let's get on the business now. First, I would buy KCB Bank. KCB Bank shares. Okay? Why would I buy KCB Bank's shares? Lately, I've been consuming information about the performance of this particular bank, and international companies and individuals are actually investing in the shares of this particular bank. What does it tell you? I mean, KCB is arguably the biggest bank in Kenya. I mean, it's like the Bank of America or the JP Morgan, if I may say so. Like it has a presence in variety of countries. It is in South Sudan, it is in Kenya, it is in Rwanda, it's in Uganda, it's in Tanzania. It's all of. I mean, it's like Kenya Commercial Bank. It's like the biggest. You get what I'm saying? Okay, some people may say, no, equity it is. Well, we may argue in terms of asset, capital, market capitalization, whatever it is. Anyway, I would definitely buy these particular shares of this particular bank. And by the way, this list of mine will be dominated by banks. Why? If you actually been living under the rock, one thing that you're supposed to understand in Kenya is that most banks are actually, especially the tier one banks. The tier one, banks are classified in terms of the tiers, yeah? The tier one, the tier two, and the tier three. Especially the tier one banks, these big banks, yeah? They are doing amazing. Why? You wait. We actually on January. You wait. Let's say, for example, on March or maybe August or something there, or June there. Let's say from March to all the way to June or August. In between there, you will actually hear a lot of companies, especially the banks and other PLC companies, announcing how much they have made in terms of profit. You go there. That list is dominated by banks. You hear like, hey, we've made 70 billion, we've made 80, we've made 65, we made 45 billion. The quarter one, we've made 200 billion. Okay, not 200,000, but rather 200 billion, but rather like 10, 15. You get what I'm saying? You know why banks are making a lot of money despite people complaining about the economies? Nowadays, most of the banks are actually lending the government more than they're lending the private sector. Sure, that may have a negative effect on the economy because the credit accessibility is becoming low and low to people, and actually the success of an economy in a country is defined by how easily its citizen can access the credit. Credit is simply bringing your future today. You've been admiring to start a business. Unless maybe you wait for like 20 years for you to get the money, you're taking that money, you're bringing the 20 years today, then you employ people. So that actually really defines the success of a country. So anyway, KCB, I will definitely buy those shares. This will cost you, one share of KCB, it's around 45. I'm making this video on 29th of January, around there. It's around, maybe you'll be watching this video and then maybe the shares will be around 80 or 300 shillings. No, right now is around 45. So this one will cost you around 4,500 Kenyan shillings plus the stockbroker. Let's just say with 5,000, you're good to go. You can buy 100 shares of KCB. Are we together? So you can be able to buy that, okay? That's company number one. Company number two, definitely, I'm going to mention another bank. I will definitely buy Equity. Back then, we used to say it's called Equity Bank. Nowadays, just Equity. I'll simply buy this company. I mean, it's doing great. Their shares around 30 shillings they are about. So you need like 5,000 again. You're able to buy 100 shares of Equity Bank. Why? I mean, it's the KCB, the Equity, and another one called the cooperative bank. These are the giants of the banks in Kenya. I mean, it's if this one is not leading this one, this is this. If this one is not leading this one, they are like the banks that exchange hands at time to time. So they are tier one banks. You can be able to buy that or those shares that you can be able to do. So okay, I can be able to buy, I will be able to buy, I mean, I would highly recommend that you can buy this one again after doing your own research. This is my own personal research that I'm doing. Another kind, this is banking, okay? Don't forget, this is banking. Okay, this company, are divided differently. Then other shares that I will definitely buy, and I've said this one will cost you 5,000, you are good to go. Okay. Now, another companies that I would definitely buy right now, and I see it is doing very good, is called HFCK. I think this is more of housing finance. This is where they are coming up with housing finance. Definitely, you can deduce what it means. It simply means when they are, engaging on home building, acquisition of homes, and anything related to that. So I would definitely buy that. By the way, I bought this share. They were around. I bought it when it was around 3. No, not 3. Actually, I bought it when it was, yeah, sure, 3.2, around there, 3.2 or 2 point something. And right now, as we speak, it's around 7.4 something, 7.46, 7.45, around there. So that's actually doubled. The share price has actually doubled. Of course, I don't just buy shares, because I do the guesswork. No, I do. For me, I do follow a lot of business news. I follow Financial Times. I follow. Right now, I always like to make funny because if you get in my office right now, you'll see, hey, that computer is on, say, Al Jazeera. That one is on BBC. That one is on Kenyan media. I watch a lot and I consume anything and everything related to, businesses and what. Okay, for me, I don't watch news. With all the due respect, I rarely watch news, especially about the politics. I don't know who did what, but I know politics do play a part in terms of unless the political part is the one that touches like the companies and such. That's what I consume. But others, no, I don't want to intoxicate myself with some other information out there. Anyway, but the point is, hey, HFCK, you can be able to buy shares. And that shares, right, assuming that you want to decide to buy those shares right now, it will cost you around, 100 shares will cost you around less than 1,000 shillings. Can you imagine that? So if you have yourself 10 Gs, like, you can just imagine how much you can even buy that. Like 700 shares. That's a good amount of shares, isn't it? It's a good cash anyway. Now, see, you can be able to buy that. Now, this one is more of a service industry. Now, the other shares that I can actually highly recommend that you buy in this particular year, I would definitely go for processing companies. Processing company. Processing company, for example, I'll go with Unga Limited. Unga Limited. Well, sure, I agree. This company hasn't been doing that greatly in terms of shares, but I will definitely go with it because, hey, you know what? Unga, for those who are watching from outside the country, Unga is not United Nations General Assembly. No, Unga simply means it's like the fufu of Nigeria or the fufu of West Africa. It's our staple food here in Kenya. Unga is the one that we use to make ugali. It can be unga for wheat, that's for making dough and the such. But unga in Kenya is simply major on the food production. And of course, you see, you buy shares of a company that touches most lives in your country. Some people tend to ask me, hey, Joseph, what shares can I buy? I tell them, don't really think deep. Just think about what you really consume each and every day. For example, you wake up, you have to eat cereals for those who do. And of course, you have to get into a company that processes the cereals and what have you. You take milk. If you have any company that is in production of milk, you invest in that company. You talk about him. You have got yourself a phone. You make calls. You send bundles. You You buy companies that you actually do the telcos and what have you that is controlling that big market. For example, in Kenya, definitely I would recommend you buy Safaricom. Safaricom, definitely. It's indiscipline to mention shares in Kenya. You leave the Safaricom out. It's the single most biggest listed company in Kenya with a turnover of 1 trillion. It's the biggest company that is a PLC in Kenya under our Nairobi Securities Exchange. So leaving it out there, I don't think that will be very nice. Another company that I would highly recommend, again, these shares will cost you around 20 shillings per share. So therefore, 100 shares will cost you like 2,000. So with 10,000, you can buy quite a good number of shares. Another one is Total. This one deals with the energy, Total Energy or Total, however you call it. This is about fuel and what have you. Of course, Come on, the whole industry does not need any introduction. You can be able to do something like that. The shares that I'm about to mention, that one may cost you a little bit higher than the 10,000, but it's still good to have it in your basket. I mean, for God's sake, I've mentioned more than 5 companies, just like I promised. Anyway, so now the other shares that I would highly recommend is the shares that goes again the something called the production, production, or we can say manufacturing. We have some company that do manufacture here. Number one, you can go to a company that manufactures some of the goods, like we have the Centum company. Centum is very doing good, it's a production company. We can also buy shares under the company called Kakuzi. I think Kakuzi is more of, although that one will cost you a lot of money, cost you around 30 something thousand or close to 40,000 to buy those shares. I think it's more of a production than it is, or it's more of a processing than it is of a production. I think it's more or less the same. Anyway, whatever. Another company that I would highly recommend that you buy shares if you want to decide to get into the shares in this country, definitely I would recommend any company that is dealing with tea. Kenya is number 3 in production of tea. That is after China, I think India, then Kenya, globally, the entire world. So definitely getting into a company that does that, it gives you hope that company will be there for quite a long period of time. You can go with Kapchorwa tea. You can go with Kapchorwa tea. Again, those shares are not for the faint-hearted. It costs you, one share, it's around 280 shillings. That will cost you like 28,000. Yeah, I remember I said 10,000. Sure, I had already mentioned that one. I said, hey, perhaps I'm dealing with people who are, in Kenya we say wameomoka. So you can actually buy those shares that cost that amount of money. Yeah, and many others that we can talk about anyway. Yeah, I know I've left some others which are very good, that are doing very good and great, like the Bamburi cement. That one manufactures the cement and what have you. Though it has been having some sort of a roller coaster, coming from 30 shillings all the way to 70, back to 30, back to 40, back to 50. They have been having some roller coaster. Some companies comes and buys, there's some those issues. But I think it's a good company that you can get yourself. That will cost you around 5,000, by the way. That actually, it's less than 10,000. So you can be able to buy those shares. But with 10,000, believe you not, you can buy a variety of companies as far as the banking industry is concerned. So go check it out. You can be able to do something about it. So anyway, yeah, sure. That is it. Those are just but examples of the companies that I will be able to buy. Just to mention as I close all this, I would say companies are divided into several. Hey, remember, there are companies that do not pay dividends, but there are others that pay dividends. So if you're so much interested with the dividend shares, of which I highly recommend, go with a company that definitely pays dividends. And we do have the production companies, manufacturing companies, we have the banking, we have the services, so it's also good to make sure that you understand all that concept, so that you don't just have all production company in your list, or maybe all, say, processing companies or all service companies. And then, for example, say you get in yourself into like service companies, and then something happens like we had in 2020, and then all the companies, let's say you had bought, although I've never seen it, but let's say you bought shares for companies that requires people to come together, then it means the business will be down if maybe we are in 2020. So, I mean, it's wise to mix up, production, processing, and such kind of a thing. Therefore, you'll be able to diversify yourself. Wow. I hope I've done justice on that video. If maybe you feel like, hey, Joseph, there's something that you've left, it's okay. Come on, tell me on the comment section. Ask me a question. Tell me something that you'd like me to make a video about, and definitely I will try the best I can to make sure that I do that. This is Good Joseph as always. Make sure that you follow me for more. See you there.